inside the timeless cage. I never wanted to sleep. A muzzled hound untied and bound, a wild beast crying for release. I want my mouth so I may howl and share with silence of the trees. color in your cheeks. Do you ever get that feel that you can't shift, the tide that sticks around like summits in your teeth? Are there some aces up your sleeve? Have you no idea that you're in deep? I dreamt about you nearly every night this week. How many secrets can you keep? 'Cause there's this tune I found that makes me think of you somehow, and I play it on repeat until I fall asleep, spilling drinks on my settee. Do I wanna know if this feeling flows both ways? Sad to see you go. Sorta hoping that you'd stay. Maybe we both know that the nights were mainly made for saying things that you can't say tomorrow day. Crawling back to you. Never thought of calling when you love you, 'cause I always do. Maybe I'm too busy being lost to fall for somebody new. Now I thought it through, crawling back to you. So have you got the goods? Been wondering if your heart's still open, and if so, I wanna know what time it
Hello, hello, hello. How is everybody doing today? What is up? How y'all doing? Chad, I have a car. I have a car. Look at my car. Do you like my car? We're going on a road trip. I don't know where we're going yet. I haven't decided. But there's cars back there doing things, and you know, he's gonna crash. I'm not gonna crash. You can't make me crash, even if I wanted to. Steering wheel doesn't do much, actually. Who let the dog drive? I'm a good driver, thank you. I'm an amazing driver. You don't even know. I have a Do I? What? I drive every single day. Don't worry about the cars we just cut off. I drive every single day for all the time. The way I'm steering is crazy. Don't worry about the way I'm steering. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Do do do. Hi, Nix. Hi, Carmia. Let's give us some shout outs to everybody who's here. We say hi. So first we got Boku. Boku, thank you for being first. We have second, Honeydew. Congratulations. And third, thank you, Addie. And a lovely hello to Addie, Honeydew. I'll be saying hello to everybody who's checked in. Hello, Boku, and Carmia, and Robin, and Spell, and Echo, and hello, Draconian Reaper. Hello. Hello, Neeks. Hello, Lilypad. Hello, Moonlight. Hello, Full Metal Brookie. Hello, Allie. Hey, Gibbets. Hey, Chump the Void. Hey, Chump, what's up? Hello, Killian. Hello, Red Moon. Hello, Ace of Spades. And hello, Anya. What do you mean it's not connected? What do you mean it's not connected? I don't. How could it not be connected? I don't get it. I don't get it, chat. It's totally connected. It's fine. Well, thank you for the head pat. Who head patted me? Thank you. Smell what? What are you smelling? Am I gonna crash the car? I will not crash the car. It's fine. It's fine. We're just gonna listen to some music while I drive this car. Oh, Sniffa, come here. Okay, and so somebody asked for Christmas music, so this is the closest I'm getting. Thank you. So we're going to be playing some horror games today, chat. We're going to be listening to some music here at the start of it. The walls are soft. What do you mean the walls are soggy? What do you mean the... What do you mean the walls are soggy? Are you telling me Vanya's peeing in the wall? No. Am I going to play and drive? Maybe. Where is she? What do you mean? Well, look. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Really? That is insane. I want to play Mario Kart. I'm really bad at Mario Kart. I'm bad at all racing games. Can you tell me why every girl is good at Mario Kart? Why is it? Any girl I met in college, any girl who's like, I love video games. Also, I will kick your ass at Mario Kart. And I'm like, yeah, probably. And they're like, what do you mean probably? I'm like, just because. Oh, sorry. I also swore. So yeah, every lady I've ever met immediately wrecks me, destroys me, insane. I've given up. It should have been the first sign you're trans. Is that, are you good at Mario Kart, Killian? Or are you bad at Mario Kart? Mario Kart is the game. I'm not saying women drivers are bad or good. I'm not gonna touch that with a million. All right, I need to stop listening to this because it's Christmassy. And then we asked for R&B, so here's my R&B. I miss this song, chat. I miss this era of music. What? Straight? What do you mean straight? Oh, shoot. Okay. Ask me if you're gay, bro. I mean... if he wants to find out, we can take a few minutes and see if we can, you know...
What up, D? You coming or what, man? I got my mind. I'm gonna let y'all go ahead, man.
How about this? He can find out on his own. I have nobody for my own. Oh, hey, don't bug. Ow. Ow. Why? Don't be scared of me driving. I'm a great driver, chat. I'm a gay driver when I drive my car, okay? Hello, Robin Babette. Aw. Mwah. Bye. Hi, Mabel. All right. Is this not your car? Why? Why are you asking? Hi, Moonflower. Why? Who's car? What do you mean? Whose car is this? It's so. It's. I didn't steal somebody's car. I did not steal anybody's car. I did not steal anybody's car. I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't steal anybody's car. No, fifth. I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth. You can't convince me to talk any further anymore. Okay? There's this car, had the keys in it, and the door was open, and there was a person getting out of it, and so clearly that means it's a free car. I'll look you in the. Okay. I'm looking in your eyes. Where are you? Over here? No, here? No. Huh, I didn't, chat, I need a lawyer. Who wants to be, I need a lawyer, chat. I need a lawyer, please. Oh no. You know what? We're just gonna, I'm gonna do something real quick, chat. It's fine, don't worry about it. It's fine. I got this. We're under control. Oh! Chat. I need to crash this car real quick. Give me a second. We're gonna just crash a little bit. It's fine.
Who's ready for a deal? Right now, you can order a foot.
Get up and run, and I would be out chasing you. 'Cause ain't nowhere in the globe I'd rather be. Ain't no one in the globe I'd rather see than the girl of my dreams that made me be so happy, but now so lonely. So lonely, Mr. Lonely.
lizard, 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 lizard. Lizard.
Well, chat, I ended up in court. Don't worry about it. But also, did you know that if you take the judge spot, they can't convict you for a crime? So, yeah. Turns out I'm innocent. I'm gonna try on myself, and yeah, we're innocent. It's fine. It's fine. The car is fine. The car is fine. She can go to jail. I'm not. No, innocent. You can't prove any
Your
different.
Honor, he is guiltier than guilty.
What do you mean? No, I am, Your Honor. You can't. Hey. You aren't. You can't. No. Bad chat. I win. I'm right. I succeed.
Here we begin the trial of the puppy, who is definitely not innocent. Let's sacrifice him.
You can't just say no. I'm putting you on chat. I'm putting you on court. Give me a second. Give me. We're putting no.
I was singing while you were gone. I set fire to the rain.
Did you set fire to the rain though? Was that a thing that happened? You know what? We're gonna change. We're taking Echo off trial, and now it's chat. That's right, chat. All of you are on court. You're guilty for being evil. Chat. How do you plead? Do you plead to being evil? How do you plead to being evil, chat? How do you plead to being evil? Not guilty?
Court, the judge is guilty.
You can't make me guilty. I'm the judge. I need a gavel. Give me a second, chat. I'm ordering a gavel online. Give me a second, chat. I'm ordering a gavel online. Gene, you can just use sound effects on your keyboard. No, I want a gavel. Amazon.com. Gavel. There's so many gavels. Oh, there's so many gavels. Okay, which one can I get tomorrow? All Prime.
I would like to be not near this rabid mob, please. I just got this body.
So it's just the way it's gonna have to be. Tomorrow. This one's $12.
New judge, our judge is guilty. Gene is a guilty pup.
You cannot prove that I'm guilty. I'm guilty of being very cool and awesome, and that is all.
When you were gone, I said, remember, no fire. Hence why I'm not guilty.
What? Huh? Chat, I'm getting a gun. Give me a second, chat. I'm getting a gun.
Fake judge. He don't even got a gavel.
No, Danny DeVito, get out of here. I don't need you right now. Chat, I'm getting a gun. Give me a sec. I have a gun. I just need to find the gun. Patient.
Lizard,
We got this.
lizard,
No,
lizard,
go away, lizard.
Lizard.
It's fine. I have this, chat. That's a dog sound effect.
Lizard.
Why do I have that? Okay. Where did it go? Chat, I lost it. Chat, I lost my gun. Chat, I lost my gun. Don't tell any of the hostages that I don't order my gun. My redeem got ignored. What redeem was it? Wait. Okay. I can find this. I can find it. Oh no, it's somewhere.
Pew 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 pew.
What? Where's my gun? Okay, there's my trash can. I
Does
don't need
stealing
the trash.
complimentary tea bags from the salon count as evil?
Maybe.
Lizard.
No, don't stop lizarding.
Lizard.
It depends. Okay. Here. First on, I need to import your model. Open folder.
Lizard.
Chat, ignore this. Ignore what I'm doing right now. It's fine. We're going to streaming assets, and we're going to items, and we're gonna find this gun. We're taking the gun. We're putting it in the folder. Okay, should be there now. Give me a second. Didn't work. No.
Lizard, lizard.
Stop
lizard,
lizarding.
Lizard, 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 lizard.
Items.
Lizard.
Okay, there it is. There it is. Okay, now. Aha!
I will steal the gun from the dog and defend chat.
My hands
You
are not.
have no skills and you're a loser!
I don't want to shoot Squidward. I don't want to shoot Squidward. I think my hands are too big. Wait.
Lizard,
There we go.
lizard,
Okay,
lizard,
chat.
lizard,
Secret
lizard,
gun.
Lizard.
Or are they too big? I can't tell. Gun.
Lizard.
Chat. Put all the snacks in the bag. Put all of your money in the bag right now, or I will arrest you. Shoot you? I don't know what I'm going to do with this gun anymore. All I know is we have a gun. What are you going to do about it? Don't pull a gun out on me. Put your gun away. No. There's only one more thing I could think to do, chat. There's only one thing I think we can do. There's only one way that we can make all of this go away and everything be fine, okay? There's only one thing we can do. And it's gonna solve everything. It's gonna solve.
Lizard.
Here, I'll put the stop lizarding. I'll put the gun away.
Lizard.
We're just gonna. Oh, that's the wrong button.
I will eat the bullets!
Why would you follow me in here? You guys, you don't do anything. You wait, and you're like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? You should have run. You had the chance to run, chat. You had the chance to run, and you didn't do it. This is not my fault. Hey, don't balk me through the bars. How are you reaching me? That's no.
Good boy.
Why did they no,
Lizard.
stop it.
Lizard.
Go away, lizard.
Lizard.
You know what? I'm pulling the gun back out.
Lizard.
I'm pulling the gun back out, chat. You can't stop me. Gun. Now what you gonna do, chat? Now what you gonna do? You're stuck in a cage, and I have a gun. And you're on fire. I don't know what the plan here was. Why are you petting me? Fine. You know what? Maybe it's got a little out of hand, chat. This might have gotten a little out of hand. It's okay. We can go back to doing what we're planning on doing today, which is well, apparently this is what we are. Oh, also, apparently I missed a different redeem. So let me see if I can go through the redeems real quick and see what I missed. Okay, first we have the head pats. Thank you. We have the stretch. I did the sniffer has been done. Head pats have been done. Bonk. Stream checking has been done. Hydrate. I forgot to hydrate. I have water. Well, good. Okay. What else do I have? I'm such a... Oh, spell. I'm such a good doggy. And... Und was else do we have? What else do we have? Thank you for the bits, Nix. Thank you. Und that should be it. Yeah. Are we good? Have I missed anything? Is there anything that I have missed that I need to do now? Or are we all good? Everyone good? Good. Yes. Can I let you... No. Can I... Yeah, let me try real quick. Okay, I'm just going to here. I'm just going to get down at your level and all right, hello little one. Just head pat. There you go. Okay. Now stop being so small. Grow. Have you tried not being this tiny? It's no wonder all of you keep getting in negative situations. If you were larger, then this wouldn't keep happening. But no, you're so tiny that people just take advantage of you. Wear stilts or something. Anyways. What are you, Garfield? Ah, yes, I am your orange cat, Garfield. I eat lasagna and I do the law. I don't believe you, Garfield. Garfield, there's no way that you are also a lawyer and you like lasagna. Everyone knows all lawyers lactose intolerant. True fact. You stole the music. Lonely, I am Mr. Lonely. You're ordering pizza on the laptop. I don't have it. How'd you get into my work laptop? How did you get into my work laptop? Oh, here's the metal that was requested by the way. Well, yeah, I can fight them for you, but...
Wait, I thought if someone took advantage of me, you could fight them for me?
Yes, I will fight somebody for you if... Do you know what this feels like? This feels like I'm playing an RPG game because I keep seeing this stuff pop up in the bottom of the screen. So it's like, here's the other character who's saying things. I kind of like it, actually. Chat, I didn't eat my pizza today. I made curry instead. What kind of stupid thing is that? Wake up. Grab a brush and a little makeup. Anyways, chat. Okay, so. Games. Everyone good with the car? Does everybody want to go on a car ride for a little while I explain what we're doing today? We good with this? Yes? Car ride. Okay, here we go. Oh, scheiße. I'm too big for the car. Car, come here. There it is. Oh! I'm not too big for the car. I'd like to be a little bit better positioned, so, but, no. Chat, I can't. Oh, no, why is it stuck to me? There we go. Okay, so chat, lovelies. We will be... Why is the bar still here? Ein Moment bitte. Now if I can bring the car back. Hello, car. There we are. Anyway, so there are games we're going to be playing today. I have a few. Size this puppy. What do you mean this puppy? What did I do this time? So we're getting hit. Driving in my car right after a beer. Hey, that bump is shaped like olive chat. DUI, now how about you die? I drive 100 miles an hour. Little did you know I filled up on gas. I'ma get your fountain making ass. Amazing. Pulverize the fuck. Right. It's true. Also, sorry, I'm just trying not to swear. Every time I swear, I'm just gonna bark immediately. We good with this? We good with me immediately barking? Wait, what if I...
Lizard. Lizard.
I mean, eventually, yeah. What if barking instead of swearing? This is gonna be awful. This is gonna be awful. That means I have to do a less cute one, though. I'm just gonna... There we go. Anyways, so it is time for games. We ready for games? Ready for games? Ready for games? Ready for games? I did that one.
Lizard, 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 lizard.
I'm too big. Help! Help! I'm too big. Help! I'm too big. Ah! Why am I dancing? Help! I can't get out of the car. I'm too big. No, just oh no! Oh no! It's fine. It's fine.
Lizard, 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 lizard,
Illusion. Shit, I've broken the illusion. Oh no.
Lizard. Lizard, lizard.
It's Minecraft.
Lizard,
Why is
lizard,
Minecraft
lizard,
there?
Lizard, lizard, lizard. Lizard.
It is reaching inside you. There I go, I fixed it. Okay. Okay, we're fine now. It's fine now, chat.
Ah, yes, Scuff, a staple of a gene stream.
Shut up, David.
Gene, you boy failed too hard there.
I have not done anything. Fight me. I did not bark at David. I did not. I did not. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark. Hello, boy, Wally. How you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. It only gets worse from here. We have half a car. Boy, Wally, I'm going to sing a song just for you. You ready? I would not normally sing this song, but I want to sing it just for you. Driving in my car right after a beer. Hey, that bump is shaped like a deer. DUI, now how about you die? I'll drive 100 miles an hour. Little did you know I filled up on gas. I'ma get your fountain making ass. Pulverize the fuck. My Bergen truck, it seems you're out of luck.
Lizard,
Truck!
Lizard,
There you go.
lizard,
Congratulations on the
lizard,
song.
lizard, lizard, lizard,
Cursed. Oh, sorry. I did curse. My bad.
lizard.
Oh, headbat. Okay. Am I be okay?
Hey, Joe, what's your power level?
Hey, chat. What's your power level like, chat? Chat, what's your?
I'm sorry, but my sensors indicate that you are indeed a weenie.
I'm not a weenie. I'm not a weenie. Also, sorry, why are you suffering in the dorm? What's your power level like, chat? Hey, Carmia. Hey, Carmia, what's your power level like? What's your power level like? Thank you for the follow, Forgotten Bun. We're not in jail. Hey, thank you. Let's see if you win. No one is this time.
And then he pressed the lizard over and over again.
He did do that. Ah, performing shader compilation. Compiling. I guess the right word for compiling is
Unlimited power!
Sorry, chat. I didn't think. Did you take your meds? I did take my meds. I didn't think the game was going to. I thought I saw something. Need to be compiled, apparently. So, we're just going to. Wait, Moonlight. I thought you followed before. I'm so confused. Anyways, hello, thank you for the stretch.
It's over 9,000.
I don't believe you. No, chat, I'm just really excited. So, okay. We're just going to go back in the car, chat. We're going to go in the car for a little while, okay? Everybody go with the car? While we wait for this to compile? Ah, the game crashed. Okay, well, let's see if we can actually, we're going to try one more time. No, I do a bunch of random bits and audios, and I do games, I do just chatting, and I vibe, and I hang out with people, and, I did a Hear Me Out cake. That was a lot of fun. Why, Boy Wally, what do you like? I also do singing. Through the tulips in the garden, that's where I'll be. So tiptoe through the tulips with me. When I'm old and gray, I'll be right in my mind. Oh, just talking streams? No, I do just chatting streams. I do singing streams. I do Hear Me Out cake stream, which was a lot of fun. I do different bits. I do a lot of different stuff for streams. Like, there's a variety. I'm working on a game show. Chat, I didn't tell you about the game show. No, don't write that down. No writing, chat. No writing. Writing's legal now. Can you do the Hear Me Out cake again? No, but I'll do something similar. No, don't. Hey, stop writing. All right, chat, we're going to see if I can compile all the shaders this time. If this does not work, then I'm going to give up. I have so many issues with Unreal compiling things. That's why I'm not even playing, I quit playing Marvel Rivals, because it takes me like an hour to try to get the game launched. I want to do a Holy Pope confession. I don't know. This was recommended to me by The Flock. I spoke to The Flock, and they suggested that I play this game, along with all the other games I played this month. And so far, The Flock has not led me wrong yet. No, Pope Gene of the Holy Gene Church. I believe in The Flock. Does The Flock have blue and pink hair? The Flock does not have blue and pink hair. The Flock is a mass of tentacles and void and dark. Flock should probably scare you. Game show. No game show. Secret game show. No one knows about it. Shh. The Flock has much power and strength, and they tell me all cool stuff, and they give me advice, and then they link me up with potential opportunities of power. So you don't have to worry about it. The Flock. I just like saying it like that. No. Flock of small game hens? No, not game hens. Not game hens. Chat, there's many animals that use the term flock. You'll never guess which one it is, though. You'll never guess. I'm undefinable. I'm undefinable, chat. No. I do not, Anya. I don't trust you. A deer cult? A cult of deers? Are they cute deers? Oh. 2,356. 2,356. Out of 2,356. Please load further. Please load further. I'm part of an orca wolf cult, if that counts. What? Why don't I have a cult? Actually, why don't I have a cult? Why don't I have a cult? Alexa, how do I start a cult?
There's something I found on WikiHow. To start a cult, first come up with something that you want to worship. It can be anything, not just a religious figure.
Okay. Okay. So, chat. Hey, yo, chat. So, I'm about to bring you down here with a different kind of southern here. Alexa, please stop talking. I have something I gotta discuss here. So, chat. I have been told that all I need for a good old-fashioned cult is anything to believe in. Well, chat, this may surprise you, but I'm anything. So what do you think, chat? Would you worship? I'm just kidding. I don't want to start a cult. That sounds like way too much work. Instead, I'm going to find somebody other cult, and I'm going to take over their cult, and then we're going to make it my cult. Too many of you said yes too quickly. Honestly, chat, you make me a little bit worried with that one. The Southern Dog Cult. A cult of personality. Now, do I want to second this one with that little bit of a Georgian style? Or do we want to go back here? Which kind of Southern we prefer today? All the way up front, like this? Or all the way back here, like this? Dealer's choice. Honestly, Georgian's a lot of fun to do. Back. Can do. Lovely. Just watching chaos, no call for me. I understand that one completely. I don't even gotta have any reason to be doing anything. Anything at all. I used to love riding the suburban trains. They felt like a little adventure, a journey to somewhere far away, beyond familiar. Well, actually, I don't really know where this one sits. Actually, that's not. Alright, so we're gonna be here for a while. Beyond the familiar stars, past the gray monotony of life, each trip came with its own curiosity. One view would unfold outside the window each time. The scenery seemed to tell a story. Faded platforms with glimpses of people rushing by. Illumined factories and concrete buildings behind rusted barbed wire. What's up, Echo? And thank you for the follow, you poo you. Thank you for checking in, all y'all who checked in. Crucified, you already want to be in the cage, I know that. We're keeping you out of the cage today. Carmia. Hey, Carmia, what's your power level? What's your power level like, Carmia? Force. Force that felt endless, mysterious, the edges dotted with occasional glowing windows of distant houses, radiating the lives unknown. I love catching these fleeting moments. Imagine the worlds behind those windows. The world seemed alive in its own way. These days, a train ride feels like a sip of water from a rusty tap. Cold, but far from refreshing. The carriage hums louder, and people no longer smile. Especially now, after the day everyone started calling the Great Departure. The figures at the station no longer seem human, just silhouettes. Blurred like watercolor under the rain. Their faces hold nothing but emptiness and despair. And my own gaze, it seems, has learned to avoid meeting others. Is game volume okay, by the way? The emptiness of the carriage presses down heavier than a crowd ever could. The window rattled on the way to the fall sun, unbearably sticky, like gluten glue. It pierced through the dusty glass, stabbing into my half-closed eyelids, forcing me to look. The train seemed to shiver too, swaying as if trying to hurl itself off the iron tracks. Sometimes I shut my eyes, hoping to hide in its rocking hollow womb, and for a fleeting second, a shudder. It feels like the old world is back again. And in that moment, the eyes of those you'll never see again freeze before you. Familiar faces. Friends and echoes of voices you used to know. They all seem close until the next jolt of the train pulls you out of the blissful dream. To be fair, there's not really much noise going on right now. Yeah, right now it's just atmosphere noise. My eyes are sticking shut, and I can feel the dream twisting, shifting in a half-sleep gaze. And with every second I sink deeper, my nails scrape at the walls of my mind, and snap, letting me fall ever further. Finally, the dream seizes me, my throat pulled me. I missed that. All right, how's that, chat? Too loud or loud enough? Honestly, for this game being so low graphic and the game being so big, I'm hoping either it's really poorly compiled, or it's going to be some giant monster or something. Because if not, this game's going to be so long, and I'm not ready for an endlessly long game. Alright, I can stop Southern now. As we're going to find me falling back into Southern. I thought it was a little loud. Okay. Bye, honeydew. Mwah. Why am I hearing crunching? What is that crunching noise? Sweet dreams are made of these. Who am I to disagree? Travel the world and the seven seas. Everybody's looking for something. Some of us want to use you. Bye and be, have a good day. Some of them want to be. Oh, yeah, look, it's a cult. Used by you. Some of them want to abuse you. Some of them want to be. Oh! I don't know. Alright, look, it's an eye. Oh, look, it's two eyes. You think you'd drive faster through this, don't you? Oh. Hey, it's the Rapture. It's the Rapture. It's taking entire buildings. Yay, the Rapture. Oh. I don't know. That looks pretty rapture-y to me. Maybe I don't have much experience with the Rapture, chat, but, like, I personally think giant tick monsters are exactly what's going to be happening at the end of the world, you know? I could be wrong, though. Are we all going to... I mean, we might be. The final chord of the nightmare tastes of the fabric of sleep, pulling me back into consciousness. Outside the window... What if it was a good Christian believing, building? I've dreamed so many times about missing the final stop, and now it actually happened. Looks like this is the old depot near my house. All right, I'm in the first car. I need to get to the driver's cabin. Maybe he's still here. Be right back. Oh, my. Everybody, we're in the shower with Dwarf. Ooh la la. Can somebody play some sexy music? Bing, 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 bing.
Save the turtles.
Save the turtles. Save the Wow. Okay, I'm looking for... Okay, VSync. We need VSync on. Ugh, I wish they had more than VSync, but that's going to have to do. Hopefully that'll work. Game doesn't look bad, actually, now that I put the HDR mode on. Wait. How... Okay. Chat, tell me if stream dies, okay? Oh, we didn't apply it. I don't know what any of this does. We're just gonna hit. We're gonna put VSync on. Okay. This actually feels like a different game now. What the heck? Why would you have the game without the cool lighting? I don't have a Patreon. Are you looking for like audios? Because I have not started doing that yet. Right? Oh, I actually should start doing that, shouldn't I? Huh? Driving in my train right after a train. Hear that train. Oh, hi, Neeks. No, Neeks. It's okay. I hope you have a good one. And I apologize if I've been stressing you out a little bit, okay? Hello, Barry. How you doing? We're calming down now, chat. I'm going to be calm. What's up, Barry? Barry. Oh, I feel you. Okay. Yes, this game is probably... Why does it smell... What do you mean? What do you mean it smells here? It does not smell here. The hollow knock from the blows echoes through the vestibule, and I suddenly feel uneasy. Interesting. What do you mean, why does it smell like pee? What do you mean? Somebody pissed on the floor? Why? I'm feeling I'm missing something. Why are y'all keep talking about pee? It doesn't smell like pee. No, it doesn't. When are you going to do a Patreon? Probably November. November is probably my plan to actually start really picking up. Are you calling her a liar? Vanya, does it smell like pee? Also, hi, Vanya. Hi, how you doing? Vanya, are you up for Scrandal this week? I don't know if I should prepare a plan for it. Ooh, train. This feels weird. Chat, we're gonna communicate with Vanya, like they are a ghost, okay? Chat, I need one of you to write out. Gina's asking, are you going to play for Scrandal? And one of you say yes, and one of you say no, and then Vanya pins whichever. That's just a ghost.
Lizard.
Moving along, giving you more than would be apart. Peel the life from your skin and all your bones, and reluctantly welcome you to the ranks. Guess I should keep moving at least until I find a way out.
No, I didn't say does it smell like pee here. I says would they like to play Scrandal with me on Saturday. No, oh. Y'all are the...
Maybe less candles next time. Maybe less candles next time. The old deep-punk greets me with the swaying lamps, almost always in unison. The creaking of their wires merge into chorus with the howling of the draft. What is this? My lungs fill with the small dampness of mixed and old wax and machine oil. The place itself is ashamed of its decrepit, masking it with greasy, oily film. Anxiety shoves a lump down my throat with crooked fingers. My guts scream that I shouldn't be here. All that's locked. What in the world? Hi, Raven. Thank you for the lurk. Grisha, if you've forgotten your key at home again, go to the smoking area and have a smoke. I think the solution will come on its own. Okay, smoking area. Anxieties didn't have Johnny. Okay, where is the... Okay, if I were to be a smoking area, where would I be? Smoking area. Maybe in here. Why? What are with all these cheap scares? I think you could sing IV of Spades. Ah, spell, don't do that. What's IV of Spades? Man, be groaning. Oh, heck yeah! Oh, this place is too cool. Man, be growing that thing in here. What's he growing? Well, that doesn't look good. Come inside my sweetheart. Is it come inside my sweetheart or come inside my sweetheart? Shall we play? Stevenson. No. Please stop flipping the breaker. Oh, did you bonk me? No, bonk does not make the bonk sound. Oh. Not going far from the exit while somebody's hiding in the closet. What is going on? I'm so confused. Okay. What is going on? What day is it? Thursday. She's really had to go to the bathroom, I get. Computer room, computer room. What's on the computer? Not this computer. This computer? Holy heck, okay. I require sense, chat. I need sense to be made right now. One of you explain the plot of this movie to me. I know I said movie. We're going to have to deal with it. Pretend it's a movie. Chat, what's your favorite movie? That's what we're going to do. You're going to tell me all about your favorite movie right now. I too like the pink I've never seen Titanic. And at this point, I refuse to watch the Titanic. I'm not going to watch the Titanic. Oh, Clue was so good. July 18th. The guy from the crew complaining through the da-da-da. Oh, come now. Remember the Titanic's good too. I'm not going to watch the Titanic. I'm not watching the Titanic ever. Apparently I can pee. Good to know. Good to know. But the Titanic is worth it? Is it? What's so worth it? That plant gets me every time. Okay, everything, da-da. The guys really agree. Okay. Lights for the toilet and hallway. Oh, sweet. Okay. This is so dumb. Give me... So I need to turn on lights for the hallway. Okay, lights for the kitchen or the bedroom? Oh, I mean, like, everybody dies in the Titanic, right? Okay, so that light's on. They say turn the lights on, or where's the light switch? Okay. I'm doing awful. I can't figure out what's going on. Okay, I'm going to read this book one more time. No, this is something different. This is... We beat Karma. We beat Karma last time. Okay. We've got to do something. It's bad enough. The hallway light's out now, but the electric lock on the old wing door shuts off too. Okay. Okay, I don't like that. I didn't like that one bit. So that one's cranked up, right? And it won't let me crank either of those. I've cranked them all up. So I must be missing something. And this wasn't here before. Or it was and I wasn't paying attention. I'm uncomfortable. A bird. Oh, I am so uncomfortable. Okay, back in we go. All right. That won't help. This won't help. Got it. Okay, I won't be able to move it with my bare hands. So... Wait a second. I have to check something. What is glowing here? I think something broke in the textures and that something's glowing over there now. Because that is not a light. That's a light. I'm not going to question it. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's fine. Okay. I might give up on this game. I might give up on this game. We have other games we can play. Thank you for the check-in, by the way. Am I crazy? Like, okay. Turn the lights all the way up, right? This won't help. This doesn't work. Doesn't work. Crazy. I was crazy. Wants to put me in a room. Whatever room. Starts making me crazy. Okay, the only thing I can think of is maybe now. Maybe I have to turn them all off. For some reason. That won't help. This won't help. Okay. Lights do nothing. Even though the book said turn on the lights. Okay. I don't think the game knows what we're looking for. Okay, everything's set. Okay, and they said that looks like there's a secret room here. So there's a secret room across? Is that what I'm looking for? Oh. Okay, now I have a key. What the heck? Okay, now we have this. I guess there's a dead body here now for some reason. Ready for the jump scare chat? You ready? You ready? Here comes, here comes. Oh. Wait. Okay. So that makes that light brighter. What's this doing? Okay, it's dimmer, dimmer, bright. Okay. Brightest. Okay. Okay, wait. 1, 2. That's the brightest that one's going. Dim. There we go. Ooh. Lovely. We should have saved the ASMR for this one. All right. If it gives me another puzzle like that, I will be done. Have a nice one. Bye-bye. Oh, what the heck is this? Okay. Oh, it's a hand. Oh, it's a meat grinder. This ain't gonna be bad. Why? Why is that? Okay. What? Huh? What is going on? Yep, I think that's gonna call it. For the sake of puzzles, with no like direction or anything, not my thing. We'll find something else to play. Y'all have any preferences? Y'all have any vibes? We could just straight up do Minecraft. You want to just do Minecraft? Minecraft? Hell yeah. Minecraft. Alright. Done. That one was you. No one else will do. I've lost all ambition for worldly acclaim. I just want to be the one you love. With your admission that you feel the same. Is that Alzheimer's? Oh, sorry about this one, Barry. I forgot this. Ooh, thank you so much for the Wadim, Barry. There you go. And there's a sniffer. Forever Redeemed sniffer. 'Cause I don't want to set the world on fire. Let's play some chill music. Hi, Blue Valley Lilies. How you doing? Yeah, no, that was. I'm sure the game was decent. Frustrating though. Chat, I totally haven't been playing while you guys have been gone. I don't know what you mean. What do you mean, have I been playing Minecraft while you guys haven't been here? I totally haven't. So how's everybody doing today? What have y'all been up to today? He lies and he's full of lies? No, totally not. What do you mean, monster grinder or monster farm? I totally didn't make a monster farm. I worked out? Oh, I'm glad you worked out a little bit. A new outfit? What kind of outfit? It got frustrating. I give up on it. Carrot! We got a carrot, chat! Woo! Oh, sick. Oh, Gene Hydrate. Stretch. Yeah, Minecraft is nice. Last game was too frustrating. We'll also have a few chickens. Okay, let me go check on our eggs real quick. Only 2 eggs. See, chat? I haven't been playing that long. I have not been playing that long at all. There we go. See, we only have a few chickens. There's only a few chickens over here. Nice. Well, my rule is if you escape, you must die. Sorry, you've chosen this yourself. You have chosen death. Stop escaping! They escaped! There's no exceptions made. Is that what happened to the escape chatters? No, of course not. Never. Never. Fine, I'll let the chicks live this time, okay? I won't kill any more chicks, I promise. Just for you, Carmia. You want a story? I should think. Do I have any stories? The first one that always comes to my mind is the time I gave a homeless guy bananas, but that really isn't that much of a story. He was just like, "Thank you for the bananas, kid," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, you're welcome." Kill the parents? Should I be scared? Oh, you're right. Don't kill children. They don't drop anything. You have to wait until they get their money up. Okay, let's see. Should I make some stories, chat? Should we find... I don't think I have time to go find stories. As in, you know, go out into the world and do things. If y'all could hear me do anything, like you want to learn about something, you want to see me do something, what would you want me to do? Literally anything. Addie, no. Where the people are? A backflip? Oh. Can we start with something easy? Like, I don't know, a handstand or something? Dating and overall life advice? Bet! Ask me literally any question. I will answer any question to my best of my ability. Play a song on the piano? Learn Blender? Oh my... Okay. Why am I scared of you? I would have to know more context. Hey, my life is fine. You know what? Here. If you have a question for me, I'll make an Ask Gene section. Hey, Carmia, do you want to remind me of making an Ask Gene section? And we can have a section that people can post questions that nobody else can read. So that you can post the question there, I can see it, but nobody else will be able to. And I'll also make a Google form that you can send me questions. And we can do a... I don't know. Can you teach me how to do shading, like drawing? No? No. Well, no, you know, I would like to. I could do like a monthly Q&A. Can I do a monthly Q&A? You know, like you ask me questions, and I'll review the questions. I won't just read off all the questions, you know. I'll look at the questions, and then I'll answer them. To the best of my ability. And we can also do a thing of like, hey, something you want Gene to learn how to do. So, I heard learning Blender, learning how to do a backflip, learning how to play a song on the piano. Yeah, I mean, we do a monthly check-in anyway, so a monthly Q&A would be a good segment for the monthly check-in. I know how to crochet. I do it very poorly. Why do you want me to learn how to crochet? Learn how to sing in front of chat? Are you telling me I can't sing in front of chat? Yes. No, I'm not making you a hat. I've said poorly. I haven't finished anything. I just know how to do it. Oh, spin rifle. What are these suggestions? Y'all must have some like confidence in me to think that I can just pick up these things easy peasy. I know how to shoot. I'm American. What, next you're gonna ask me to learn how to rap. Okay, bake a flan. No. Ah. Do you need to learn how to rap? You do need to. I need to learn how to rap. You know what? All right, let's do this. Let's do something stupid. What was my dream job as a kid? So I'm gonna tell you something that's gonna be very telling about myself, Xander. Zandrea, sorry. Zandera? Zandera. Okay. And this is gonna be so awful. My dream job was somebody else's dream job because I looked up to that person. And so I wanted to be an FBI agent. I knew nothing about the FBI, but he said he wanted to be an FBI agent, so I wanted to be an FBI agent. Enough so that it influenced me later on when I was looking at college stuff and I studied cyber forensics. I try to look at like, who do I look up to and like, who do I want to be like in like the VTubing scene? And I'm just like, I don't really know, but other people look up to this person, so maybe I should look up to them. I don't even have an Oshi. I want an Oshi. I want an Oshi so badly, but I don't have an Oshi. Yes, I do cyber forensics. A VTuber? What do you mean a VTuber? Oh, no. Somebody I looked up to wanted to be an FBI agent was, oh, sorry. An Oshi is I believe it's a Japanese term, and it's the person that you kind of look up to. It is like supposed to be like the person that you like most look up. Well, the top one is called a Kami Oshi, which is like your God Oshi, because Kami means God. But an Oshi are people that you want to succeed above all others and that you look up to. It's more of a fan thing though. It's not like a role model. It's more of like a these are my favorites. Yeah, it's like it's an idol you really support because VTubers come from the idol scene. Hello, Hannah. ¿Cómo va? Why did I say Hannah is Hannah spelled like that's German, isn't it? Hello, Hannah, wie geht's? I'm your Oshi. Oh. Do y'all know about what Oshi marks are? Wait, do y'all know about Oshi marks? This is an actual question. I'm curious, because I know a lot of you like really aren't big in the VTuber scene. You're just like me, which is really fucking cool. It is really cool that a lot of you just like me as a VTuber. You're like, cool. So Oshi marks are marks like usually little symbols. They use emojis most of the time to define like who you're a fan of. And so what you do is you take those Oshi marks and you put them like either on your name, like your username, or you put them in
in your bio. For instance, I'm still trying to figure out mine, but mine was a 4-leaf clover and a dog paw. Because, you know, you can use those with emojis. And so if you were a fan of me, you would put that in your bio. It is exactly like K-pop groups, because it comes from K-pop groups and J-pop groups. All of the idol culture heavily comes from... Oh yeah, and that was my other thing. My other, like, what I wanted to be as a kid growing up was rich. Sorry, kiddo. Didn't succeed with that one. Okay. So how about this, chat? If y'all can agree on one thing you want me to do for a week, so we agreed on rap so far, I will spend a week trying to learn it, messing around, and then on the next day, I have to show it off. Like the next, like, Sunday. So we'll do it on Sunday to Sunday. It's too late. I will have to learn to freestyle. Bake a flan. Y'all just don't want to. Y'all just don't want to see a white boy catch a groove. I see how it is. Really? Well, I'm happy that you have found your dream job and that you are pursuing it. I don't know what I'm doing right now. Oh, right. You know what I'm waiting for? I am. And honestly, like, the ideal thing, though, something that doesn't cost me any money. Because I'm broke right now, chat. I want a bow or string. Do you know ASL? I do not. Do I know how to do it? Yes, I mean, honestly, I just need to kill things. I dare you to learn the ASL SL alphabet. Well, that'll have to be the week after, because right now we're doing rap. Mm-hmm. I bet. Functional adult? Functional adult? I feel like I've only just recently made that. I think I've only just recently achieved functional adult. I'm really just waiting for these things to drop, aren't I? What is functional? What is functional? You're gonna have to define functional for me. Don't die. Honestly. Shoot. This is gonna be risky. Hey, that's not fair. You can't pick out things that are specific to me. That's a totally normal thing not to have happening right now. I totally have normal. Fine. Fine, I'll put real bed sheets on my bed. Isn't this lovely? I made it myself. By finding it. It was a frustration. My bed is not naked. I have a sheet pulled on top of it that I adjust every day. Because it's not really tucked into anything, but I just lay on top of it. Don't worry about it. It's fine. The bed is not naked. The bed has clothes.
Sorry, I'm hyper focused right now. Naked, but fine. I'll put clothes on my bed. Okay, Carmilla has so many standards for me. Carmilla, what was the other thing that I needed to do for you? Oh, I have to make a TikTok every day. So I've made a TikTok. I posted a TikTok today. No. Making you a hat doesn't count. I'm not making you a hat. I'm sorry, Carmilla. Not happening. I'm not picking up crochet anytime soon. No, I'm going to post a TikTok every day like the requirement was. See, chat, I just need to find somebody more functional than I am. No. And we're all good.
Done.
What the heck is that? Done. I gotta learn how to do all the Jake the voices. What hit me? Fine. I'm so scared. I don't know what has happened.
Mocking pancakes, mocking bacon pancakes.
mocking pancakes, mocking bacon pancakes. Iron. That's why we're here, that's why we're here, that's why we're here, that's why we're here. Need it, 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 need it. Okay. Okay, I'm feeling a little bit better. We're feeling a little bit calm. Michael Myers, y'all. But yeah, how is I don't know why I keep asking y'all how you are. You keep answering the same answer and see iron. We're getting iron. Everything's fine. Everything's fine, chat. Making pancakes, making bacon pan. What do you mean I can't hit high notes though? Wait. Somebody said you need to learn how to hit high notes. What do you mean hit high? What do you mean hit high notes? I can hit high notes. Oh, sorry. You want me to hit that note? I can't hit that. Okay. Hit a high note in general? Addie, don't do that. You had a very weird interaction with the mail yesterday? Tell me about it. Shut up. What the heck? I went walking with my mama one day when she warned me what people say. Live your life until love is found, cause love only gets you down. See, is that high enough? Can I hit that? Is that fine? What do you want me to hit higher than that? Higher? What's higher than that? I don't really need lapis right now. What do I know it's higher than that? The high note in the Phantom of the Opera cover? I don't hit that high note. All I hit is the, I hit the Phantom of the Opera parts. You know? The, hit whistle notes? What the heck? Bye, Raven. Okay, let me think. The only one I can think is higher is Billy Brown had lived an ordinary life, 2 kids, a dog, and an cautionary wife. While it was all going according to plan, then Billy Brown fell in love with another man. If we go higher than that, it's the here I go again. I'm breaking out, I'm shutting down now.
Inside, outside, decommissioned, wonder if it's painful. Reading love and writing love, technically the same. Actually, I don't remember how the lyrics go. Anyways, I'm gonna decide something to do today. Read, tidy desk, write poetry. Tidy desk, 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 get wrecked, nerd! Clean! I am a living thing. I am not a human being. I'm alive, I'm alive. La, da, 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 ba, 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 da, da, ba, da, da. Here I go again. I'm no, it's goes the people. Oh, I just talk about it. Can't we live without all these bounds of society? Make believe people got to really mean a brother. There's no disagreement. The stage of society. It's make believe. Hey kids, what you do, what you think you're doing. I say, pardon me. I'm dancing for no reason. La da 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 da. La da 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 da. La da 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 da. La da 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 da. Anyway, sorry. Sure, Mouse Ruff, you can totally suggest it. If you want to post it up in the Discord, or you want to just post it here, that's fine too. Oh my, how old is that kid? That dude must be, that must have been like a child. Is Phantom with La 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 La? Is Phantom with La La? Phantom is with La La. Oh god, let me look at Phantom of the Opera. Can I even hit any of that? I'm so ill prepared right now. Give me a second. Where is it? Sing once again with me, a strange duet. I have to listen to lyrics. My power grows strong, and though you turn from me to glance behind. I can't remember how. I need to listen to it. Give me a second, chat. We're gonna listen to it. You ready? Wait, where is it? Hardcore by Pulp? Okay. Let's see if we can hit any of this. I'm not prepared at all. Sing once again with me, a strange duet. My power over you grows stronger yet. Can't hit it really. Anyways. You turn from me, I only... Whatever. As close as I can get. You have to deal with that. If I prepare and I get ready for it and I warm up for it, it can sound a lot better. Plus I have to be standing and I have to be in the right place. No, you have to deal with it. You're gonna have to deal with it. No. There are other songs I'd sing over that. Vanya! Vanya. Hello, Vanya. Mwah. Vanya, come here. No, chat. I am technically a tenor, apparently. I just am not warmed up at all. Sucking too hard on your lollipop, love's gonna get you down. But Vanya, are you up for Scrandal? Are you up for Scrandal this week? If you're not up for Scrandal, just DM me, let me know, okay? I'm worried about you. Mwah.
Okay. And though you turn from me. Good. Funny, always loving. Yeah. I just wanted your attention. Sometimes I want your attention. Yes, I was not making out with anybody. Surprise, surprise, my boundary is making out with people in chat. I'm sorry, chat. I will not be making out with anybody. Okay, what was that song that you recommended me, Dwarf? I said I love you, Vanya. I did say that. And I said you need the love. Hardcore by Pulp. Let's listen to it. There's nothing in my pulp, my brain.
Biff Avery, screen test, take 2.
I didn't take her to the motel. She took me.
I'll tell you the unwritten law, you dumb son of a bitch.
It sounds familiar.
Once, but all they found were rats in my head.
It sounds familiar. This is the video.
Ask any bum on Main Street. That's how she operates.
Have you not seen the music video? Pulp. Apparently I have a 4-octave range. This is Pulp. I'm still trying to hit the E1 though. If I can get to E1, I'll be so happy. I'm so close, chat. I am so close to hitting E1. And then I can do Ookie Bookie Song. That's fine, I like it. Well, what have we here? Santa Claus, huh? I'm really scared. See the one everybody's talking about. You're joking, I can't believe my eyes. You're joking, you gotta be. This can't be the right guy. He's ugly, he's ancient, I don't know which is worse. I might just put a scene now if I don't die laughing first. Interesting. Hello, Mitzi. How you doing? This? Oh yeah, I can sing this. Am I gonna sing it right now? No. Oh, well, I hope you enjoy my boring stream. It's not really that entertaining right now. But definitely. I like it though. I'd need to know the lyrics before I even try to sing it. Yeah, I'll definitely check it out. What do you mean? What do you mean? I've done chat. I've walked between this spot here. This is vanilla hardcore. Yes. The one rule is that I have to stay underneath the ground. Wow, Neeks. Wow, Neeks. It be your own people who be gunning for you. Excuse me? Excuse me? No, Neeks. Neeks. Excuse me. So I'm boring, Neeks. Then why you watch me, huh? Huh? Neeks, you don't have to watch me. You're legally not required to watch me. It's fine. Yes, I have to stay underground. It's my own rule. Yeah. Bo. Thank you for the follow, Mr. Fake Pepino. How you doing? We got a bow. Okay. Now I can save up iron. We just need enough iron. Thank you for the follow, Xander. we got... Okay. Bow. Now I need iron to build the thing to repair. Can I repair this? How do I repair this? It is possible to repair, right? It has unbreaking. It is unbreaking. Unbreaking 1. It's fine. I don't care what enchantment's at. It's a bow. I can use it. Okay. Finally. No, I can't make another bow. I have no way of making another bow. And I have no string. I just wanted a bow to be able to fight things at long distance. No. Damn. Yeah, I mean, I guess the other option is, continue farming until stuff shows up. But, we can't do this forever. I can't just... Name of the headbats. I can't just exclusively kill things, right? Okay, I don't know if this is going to work. We're going to test something out. I don't know if it's going to work. The hope is death and some of the stuff will end up in there. That way things will keep dying while I'm not here. I don't have to worry about it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But why are you licking me? Don't lick me. No. Vanya, sweetie. That's not what I mean. How did I get chickens underground? Oh, so the way the game works is I have 15 minutes at the very beginning to collect stuff, right? And I have 15 minutes to do my collection, and once the 15 minutes are up, I have to go immediately underground. And so that is how I'm doing it. 15 minutes, I was able to dig around a chicken and bring it down. And so for forever, I had to wait for a single egg to hatch. And when an egg finally hatched, then and only then was I able to finally have multiple chickens. And now we have a bunch of chickens. But it took forever. To get one egg to work. Okay, we have iron here somewhere. Where did I put my iron? Oh, right, that'll do. Nice. It was Man. I'm gonna give up. No more talking, chat. I need music. Autumn Night Owl Jazz. There you go. I do have a place I can go. I have a lush cave. Oh, that'd be pretty jazzy. Why are they putting shrimp in your pie? Hey, you like jazz? Chat, for 100 gifted subs, I will read the entire B-movie script. Oh. So, I had to find water underground. So I was able to find a watermelon, bamboo, because we started in a jungle. So I was able to get this, and the bamboo, and the chicken. And that's pretty much all I came down was into the watermelon. Once I got done, I had to find iron down here. I had to find a source of water, which is what this is for. Oops. This tunnel here leads to my source of water. And everything else, you know, has been found down here. And I'm glad I found bamboo, because that was the only way I could do what I'm currently doing. Not really. 15 minutes is plenty of time. And you don't really need armor. I mean, like, once you get down, you just, you know, go with it. Go with the flow. It's gonna be there, it's gonna be there, it's gonna be there. I need at least 64 blocks, that'll do. It is a sitcom. The sitcom is goofy, silly, and doofy, and everything else. No, I'm not gonna show thighs. Gene Handreville? No. No. That's not gonna happen until... Face reveal will come before hand reveal. Maybe. That's bananas. Well, I'm not going to do any, like, cooking streams or anything until, like, unless you want me to delay face reveal. Oh, right. I remember where I was going. Sorry. Real cooking for you? Okay, then I will do my first cooking stream when I hit partner. Can do. That's not the right way. Where did it go? This way? Yeah. Too late. It's been changed. Why is that? What if I don't like my hands? What's the last thing I cooked? I made myself a curry pasta, curry chicken pasta. I'd made some curried chicken earlier. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of my hands. My hands are fine, but you know. I looked good. You did look good. Buy new hands doesn't work that way. I wish it did. Thank you for the follow. My hands do. Vanya, that is poetic. That is deep. That's also BS. Why would that change my perception on my hands? That is very adorable. I like that. Do I hate this community? I do not hate this community, but I don't like my hands. I have German hands, chat. I have hand dysmorphia. We'll put it that way. My hands are fine, but then every time you see a VTuber online, they're like, look at my perfectly bony, thinny, strong hands that will go perfect around your throat. And I'm like, my hands, they function. Germans have thicker fingers. Germans have thicker fingers, and I have thick fingers. Yeah. What? Exactly. Which, you know, that's an interesting thing. Like, you can have body dysmorphia over literally anything, and I think everybody has it to an extent. Like, I mean, there's still DACT on everything. That means there's more to hold on to when you hold hands. It means my hands are sweaty. Man hands instead of twink hands. Man hands instead of like the sex god hands, the Adonis hands, which are all, you know. Holding hands without gloves? I didn't say that much. I didn't say that much, chat. I didn't say we're gonna hold hands without gloves on. Don't get ahead of yourself, chat. Don't get ahead of yourself. There's always got to be protection between our hands. Yeah, no gloves, no love. Protection is important, chat. What is... Oh, it's a skeleton. I hate your shortness. Oh, no. No, why'd I drop it? You never thought about... Oh, it's this stupid carpet. We're good. We're good, chat. We're good. Yeah, turn the music down a little bit. I couldn't hear them. What do you mean, what'd you witness? What's up, goody? Hey, Sovereigns. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Thank you for the check-in. We gotta get really focused there for a second. I've barely got any iron this time around. It did not help much. Sovereign, how you doing? No, Vanya. No. Got it, no. Oh, yeah, because, so we're currently playing on a thing, hardcore, where I can't get anything more, so I need anything. I keep not finding iron. We'll get there eventually. It's the only reason we're out here tonight is for iron. Gene's anemic? I'm not anemic, what do you mean? Oh, no iron. Shut up. Oh yeah, no. So this is I've started over with this is a completely vanilla hardcore, and I'm just trying to start with whatever I can find. And copper was all I could find for the longest time. I kept running out of picks. The rule is that I can't go to the surface, and so we're making it work. I mean, half of it was just trying to find enough iron to make another pick. That way I could keep mining. Close it, Vanya. No spread. Why? What is with y'all and your spreading of hole? Oh, I got lucky. So I had 15 minutes on the surface and I found bamboo. So all my wood is bamboo. It just takes a lot longer, but bamboo grows pretty well, so... Jesus. Twitch hates you? That's fair. Oh yeah, and apparently you hate me. Apparently you hate me. Chat, we found Vanya. Got it. Yeah, you said I'm boring. Kidnapped. Get kidnapped, Vanya. Taking you home. Nope, you staying with me. Nope, now you live with me now. Nope, Bonnie, you staying here. Don't worry about it. Have we been getting anything else? Nope, I'm keeping it. Keeping the raccoon.
Dog, give us back the raccoon or ISTG.
No, 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 no. Mine. You live.
Chat, get him.
You live in my farm now. Enjoy the farm. Oh no! Everything broke! Where'd Vanya go? Chat, we lost Vanya. Vanya, no! Where are you going?
Chat, we're out of the cage. Get Gim.
I got it. I got her. I got him. I got him back. Mine. Get in the farmland. Okay. There you go. Look at you. Look at you all happy. Look at you going up and down the waterfall. So goofy. What's up, Vanya? Stay in the water. Honey, stay in the water. I don't know if you'll just spawn. There we go. Okay. There. All right. Wait, I need a name tag? Okay, it's fine, chat. No. No, Vanya, unfortunately, Vanya, I don't know how to tell you this. You're gonna have to live in the bucket. You're going in the rock. You're going to the rock prison. I gave you moss to feed on. It's okay, there's moss. Chat, that was my only bucket. No, live in the thing. You'll be fine. You'll be happy there. Vanya's fine. Vanya will be fine. Welcome back, welcome back. It's okay, Vanya. It's okay, Vanya. Vanya, up. It's okay. Here, I'll give you a bow. See, how's that feel? You have a bow now. And you have a little moss to eat. And you can eat rotten flesh too, okay? Don't shoot me with the bow. There's no... Don't shoot me. Little Vanya in a bow. Draw Vanya in a bucket holding a bow. The ideal. That's the ideal. That's peak performance right there. Vanya, behave yourself. We don't have that kind of bucket. We have normal buckets only. Carmia, really? Really? How could you? How could you? You could betray me like this. You betray me like this on the day of my... You guess I'm less boring now? Oh, is that what it's been? Neeks, have I not been flirting enough for you? Is that what it is, darling? Little bunny. Is that what you need to be entertained? To be flirted with? Huh. Bun. I'm sorry. I'll have to remember that.
The Bucket Vanya silently seethes in their prison, silently plotting for the day they will smite their oppressor.
I love David Attenborough. I love David Attenborough. I love it so much. It's so good. Yes. Every time, it is so good. It's perfect every single time.
Amazing. I guess we're just gonna put chickens in random places from now on. No, Neeks is dead. I don't need to worry about that anymore. What's the fun of playing with dead prey? What's my hidden talent? Holy sh... Okay. Give me a second, chat. Give me a second, chat. Give me a second, chat.
Help me, chat. Help. Help me, please. I'm going to starve, please. I haven't seen the sun in months, and it stinks like hot piss in this chest, please.
Lizard, lizard,
Give me a second,
lizard,
chat.
lizard, 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 lizard. Lizard.
Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on, baby girl. Come on, baby girl. Come on, baby girl. Come on, baby girl. Come on. All right. Shoot.
Don't know any Neeks or Vanya, never have they don't exist.
Come on, 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 come on. Open this up, open it up, open it up, open it up, open it up. Come on. There you go. We're just gonna take this one next. Come on. There you go. Easy. And now we finish this off. There you are. Hello, beautiful.
Number 13, axolotl in the bucket. The last thing you'd want in your Minecraft chest is a axolotl kidnapped in a bucket.
No, no, no.
Bro,
Yes!
he did flirting and ran again.
Sorry. Hi. How's everybody doing? Sorry, I got a little distracted there. Okay. Yeah, let's fix you up real quick. Oh boy. Huh? When I wasn't meaning the mods. What happened? What did I do? Hey yo. I got a little distracted there, chat. I hope you don't mind. We got a villager. Oh, I can wiggle my ears. I guess that's a hidden talent.
I'm going back to AO3. It's wholesomer than this dog.
Since when am I not wholesome? What did I do that was unwholesome? Chat, what did I do? Hello, Jade Loves Books. What did I do? What do you, I was so wholesome.
Bonk. Bitch.
Don't swear at me. Apparently I'm not wholesome. I thought I was so wholesome. What did you mean? Thank you for the follow, Jade Loves Books. How you doing? How you doing? Okay, there we go. The last 3 minutes? I did no such... What do you mean innuendos? What did I do that was an innuendo?
The main problem area is up here. All of this going on up here is what's causing me the most physical discomfort.
What did I do? I'm so confused.
I created some of her emotes. I can delete you from existence.
What is... Okay, he's doing okay. We're gonna need to get a name tag somehow. I don't know how I'm gonna find one, but Oh, hi! What's up, baby boy? How you doing, beautiful? You keep yourself healthy, okay? Don't you disappear on me, alright? I need you. Hmm? Chat, how am I supposed to keep him alive if I don't talk to him kindly? What do you... I'm so confused.
That sign can't stop me because I can't read.
Neither can I! Yeah, I'm giving words of affirmation to the Cute fighty Jane, exactly. What is that noise? You're so grumbly. Why are you so grumbly? Who do I? I totally call you Vanya. I've been in call with you more than I have Neeks. I don't think I've been in a direct call with Neeks. Neeks, have we ever directly called?
Dog, hear my message. Unshrimp? Oh, a hydrate, you dehydrated prune?
Oh, thank you. Sorry. Oh, I know what I messed up now. I do not ignore you. Since when have I ignored you? When did you call me? I'm so confused. Hey, who's messing with the bucket? Who's messing with the bucket? No, 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 no. Neeks, I'm so confused. What do you mean? Neeks, what did I do? I'm so I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know what I did, but I am sorry. Oh, yeah, no, I was sobbing. I'm not gonna get in a call with somebody while I'm crying. I'm not, that's kind of a standard for me. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. But you asked me to call? I don't know when this was, Neeks. Okay. I'm sorry. I have difficulty keeping up with everything. There's a lot of stuff going on all the time. I don't mean any ill intent by it. Okay. I'm sorry.
Yes, just like I never left home. People flirting left and right. And someone caged in a corner. Glad it's not me this time, though.
What time is it? Oh, we've been going on longer than the normal time. Shit, I may have to end it here. But I will be back here tomorrow. So you all have a good evening. And I will see you all next time, alright? Tomorrow's Friday, so expect poetry and expect more of the same. Alright, love you all. Y'all be good. Bye for now.